I never thought a simple night shift could turn my life upside down. I was working security at an old warehouse on the edge of town. It was boring most nights, just cameras, patrols, and too much coffee. But that one night, something strange happened. Around 2 a.m., one of the cameras went static. Just white noise, nothing but static. I thought it was a glitch, so I grabbed my flashlight and went to check. When I got there, the air felt heavy, like the whole place was holding its breath. I walked down the narrow aisle between the shelves, the beam of my flashlight cutting through the dark. That's when I heard it, footsteps. But not mine. Slow, steady, and just behind me. I spun around. Empty. Just shadows and dust. I tried to laugh it off, telling myself I was just tired. But then I noticed something on the floor. A shoe print. Fresh. And here's the thing. No one else was supposed to be in that warehouse. I reached for my radio to call it in, but the static hit again, this time in my earpiece. And then I heard a whisper. A man's voice, low and clear, right next to me. Why did you come back? My blood ran cold. My hand froze on the radio. The voice wasn't in my head. It was real, so close I could almost feel the breath against my ear. I swung the flashlight wildly, but the beam landed only on crates and shadows. Who's there? I shouted, though my voice cracked. My words echoed off the walls, bouncing back at me like taunts. No answer. Just silence so thick it pressed on my chest. I forced myself to move, step by step, deeper into the warehouse. Every instinct told me to run, but my job kept me walking forward. Then I saw it. On the far wall, one of the storage doors was slightly open, just an inch, but enough to catch my eye. I approached slowly, the beam trembling in my hand. The shoe print I'd seen earlier seemed to lead directly to that door. I reached out and nudged it wider. The hinges groaned, the sound slicing through the silence. Inside was darkness, even darker than the rest of the warehouse. And then I saw something. No, someone. A figure, standing at the back of the room. Still, motionless, watching. My flashlight flickered once, twice, then went out completely, leaving me blind. In that pitch-black moment, I heard the voice again, clearer this time, almost calm. You shouldn't have come alone. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. I fumbled for the backup light on my belt, hands shaking, but before I could switch it on, the door slammed shut behind me. The slam of the door echoed like a gunshot, and I instinctively spun around, slamming my shoulder into the steel. Locked. I rattled the handle, kicked it, even rammed it with my full weight, but it didn't budge. Whoever, or whatever, was inside had sealed me in. The air in the room was heavy, almost damp, carrying a faint metallic tang, like rust or dried blood. My breath sounded too loud in the dark, every inhale like a shout, every exhale like a warning. I finally managed to flick on my backup flashlight, the thin beam slicing through the blackness. The corner where I'd seen the figure was empty. Nothing, just bare walls and scattered debris, an old chair, some broken pallets, a shredded tarp on the floor. My heart sank, but then my eyes caught something carved into the concrete wall. Scratches. Words, gouged deep as if written in desperation. I crouched down, my hand trembling as I reached for the edge of the tarp. Every instinct told me not to, but curiosity overpowered fear. I pulled it back slowly, the fabric crackling as dust filled the air. Underneath wasn't a body, not exactly. It was a mannequin, its face cracked, painted eyes staring blankly upward. For a second, relief washed over me. Just a mannequin. But then I noticed the wires. Thick, black wires drilled straight into its chest, snaking across the floor and disappearing into the wall. I followed the cables with my flashlight, and that's when I realized they led to a series of old TV monitors stacked in the corner. Half of them were shattered, but one flickered on. Static at first, then an image. I was on the screen, standing exactly where I was now, flashlight in hand, looking at the mannequin. I froze, staring at my own reflection, but it wasn't delayed, it was live. Whoever was filming me wasn't using a hidden camera. It felt closer, like the room itself was watching. Then the screen glitched. For a moment, I saw myself move, but not in sync. My reflection turned its head toward me, before I actually did, its mouth curling into a smile I didn't make. The monitor cut to black. Behind me, the door I thought was locked creaked open, just a few inches. A shadow stretched across the floor, moving toward me. Don't trust them. The letters stretched across the wall in uneven lines, some almost smeared, as if made with bloody fingers instead of tools. I stepped closer, running the light across the marks, trying to make sense of them. That's when I noticed the fresh footprint, in the dust right beside mine. Not old, not faded, fresh. My skin prickled as I raised the flashlight higher, and that's when I saw it. The tarp on the floor wasn't just shredded, it was covering something. A shape, long, human-sized. I froze. Part of me wanted to lift it, to see what was underneath. Another part screamed at me to leave. I stared at the phone in my hand, the screen glowing with messages I never thought I'd read. My so-called best friend, the one I'd trusted with everything, had been plotting behind my back for months. He wasn't just betraying me for money, he was tearing apart every single thing we had built together. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind replayed every laugh, every handshake, every late-night talk we ever had. How many of those moments were real, and how many were just part of his act? The next morning, I confronted him. I didn't yell. I didn't break down. I just looked him in the eye, and asked, why? He froze, then smirked like he didn't even care. That hurt more than the betrayal itself. I walked away that day, but not empty. I carried with me a lesson carved deep into my chest: trust is fragile, and once it's broken, it can never be the same. I lost a friend, but I gained clarity. Sometimes life rips people out of your world to show you who they really were. And even though it cut me like a knife, I'd rather know the truth than live in a beautiful lie. Because at the end of the day, betrayal doesn't just reveal who they are, it reveals who you become after surviving it.